Hey everybody, we're excited for our interview today with Fibro Rebel. We're going to get her going here in just a second, so bear with us. Here she is.
I do this
Hey,
because I like sharing with people and spreading awareness because it's such an alone kind of thing. Sorry, I was already talking.
that's okay. How you doing?
Ah, I had headphones that I don't have in. I can't hear anything. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yeah,
I can hear now.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear now.
Nell's joining us in just a second. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now I know you Fibro Rebel. What's your name? What's your first name?
Jillian.
Jillian. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you. Rex and Nell. Nell's right here, and
Hi.
come on in. Come closer.
Hi.
Hi, how are
Oh,
you?
you're beautiful. So your name's Jillian?
Yeah, Jillian.
Oh, I love it. Well, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's our honor.
We as we were building out the schedule that we've got, which we're fortunate to have through July of 2023 right now.
Wow.
I noticed you and you caught my eye, and I wanted to reach out and make sure that we had you. Fibromyalgia is, and I know that there's some other things that you can talk about that might even be new to some of the people that are either following you or will be following you. Make sure you're following her if you haven't, you guys. And for those that missed it, maybe you're catching this on the YouTube video later. But we want to provide an opportunity where even though you share in your videos, fun facts, right, about fibro, there may be some other things that have to do with pain that you go through that have been part of your inspirational story, and we just wanted to give a platform for you to share that as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, how long have you? When did you start learning about that you had fibromyalgia? Because fibromyalgia is something that I think you mentioned a lot of people don't give credit to, that it's legitimate or it wasn't well understood. So,
and it's complicated, honestly. Very different for every person too.
Yeah. So I got diagnosed about just before COVID hit, so a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But I think I've had it for a really long time. I went through some awful trauma in my mid-20s.
Wow.
And I think it started then, but from all that, I had a bunch of surgeries on my spine and everything. So any pain that I ever had, any doctor I talked to, it was just oh, it's because of your back. For years.
Yeah.
So, and finally I'm yeah, I don't think so. I think it's more. I think it has to be more.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of times, so often that's the story where when you get a diagnosis, you're able to trace back and kind of think no, hold on, this goes along with my diagnosis, and that went along with my diagnosis, and this, and it could be years before we really start feeling the weight of it, I guess. When the illness truly, mine progressed like that. For my dad would always remind me, do you remember you were in that really bad accident? He'd always say that. Do you remember? He always would bring it up, and I just would blow it off. But yeah, of course, I think that has something. It's connected somehow with mine. Yeah.
And you said that you got diagnosed with that how long ago?
Not too long.
Beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
Also, just fairly
recent. A year and a half.
Yeah, not even 2 years yet.
No.
But living with it for far longer.
Yeah. And I had that thing where when I got diagnosed, I was like, yes, I know what it is. It's something. It's tangible. It's there. And then you know, eventually the reality of it sets in and you're like,
I
oh,
know. Yeah.
I'm diagnosed
Yeah.
and it's not something that's curable.
Yeah, this isn't fun.
Great.
Yeah,
No.
it's something I got to learn to cope with.
Yeah.
And things.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like a lot of other people, when I got diagnosed, I went into my doctor with journals of daily symptoms that I
Wow.
kept track of because I'm like, I need something for them to look at because I have a terrible memory and I'm like, I need something tangible to give them. And but I thought all I knew about it was from the ads that I saw on TV that are like, oh, you have fibromyalgia, your skin hurts. These pills make it go away. And I'm like, oh, well, that's what it is. It's your
Yeah.
skin hurting. And then it's so much more. And I don't think a lot of people know about that, which is, you know, why I started making videos because
Help increase
I
awareness.
didn't know. And yeah. And it's really helped me learn stuff too because I have people always in the comments like telling me things or like I've been told I'm wrong about that, which is awesome because I like learning and it's just
That's one of
good.
the first
like,
times I've heard somebody say that, like in such a positive way. Usually it's like, don't tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who do you think you
Aw.
are, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I work really hard on knowing when
Yeah.
I'm wrong and trying to be good about it because my first reaction is always like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's, you know, sometimes you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My mom has fibro.
Yep.
That was the first time that I ever learned that it existed. Was my mom talking to me a little bit about what she?
Yeah, and that was she.
Who
So
was
she
first?
probably was kind of diagnosed when you didn't even, because this was, oh my word, years ago, and absolutely no credit given to what it was, that it actually was a disease, that it actually caused the pain that it, you know, and not a lot of research, not a lot of meds even at that time, I think, so.
Yeah, it was really new and still, I think, gaining credibility in people's minds and things.
Fibro reminds me a lot of how people think of Lyme disease. And they have similar symptoms too. At least a chunk of the symptoms. Because I've watched, anyway, Lyme disease, just like fibro, there's still this fight of being validated by just us as humans, but also professionals, insurance companies. You know, insurance companies love to say something doesn't exist, or, you know, this isn't a true disease.
Yeah.
Or, you know, so I get really sad and worried about that because then you're really on your own with treatment as far as cost. And I don't know if you experienced some of that. I'm sure you've experienced.
We're in Canada,
yeah,
so it's a little different, but
that's why you still have a smile on your face. Yeah. Yeah, insurance is so fun. Yeah, well, it's funny because I was going to ask you because you have this slight. I love Canadian accent, but it's just
really?
so slight. Yeah, right in the beginning, I was going to ask you where you're from, but yeah, it's not so easy here.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, there's
I've
a
heard
lot
some
of
bad stories.
fighting to get things covered, but that's amazing. So, do you have any? Do they just, first of all, do they accept it? You know, as for what it is in Canada, and do you get any treatment that you need, or how does that work? Because that's interesting to me.
What's up, Antonio?
Some accept it and some don't. Like I've gone into the emergency for either my back or something where I'm hurting too much. And sometimes I get doctors or nurses that are like, oh, you have fibromyalgia, so your pain scale is way off.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to go with a 1 to 10. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, that's awesome. But then I've gone in and I've had the, you know, really subtle eye roll, and
Yeah.
it all depends on the person. And we have So the way I explain the Canadian medical system, and this is where in BC, it's different. Every province is different.
Right.
But if you're broken, they'll fix you. And if you're sick, they'll make you better. But almost anything with aftercare, like physiotherapy or chiropractic or acupuncture, or even anything to do with mental health isn't covered.
Okay.
Unless, like with mental health, I know if you go into a hospital and you're like an inpatient, it is covered. But like therapy and stuff like that isn't.
Oh, okay. So
it all
there's
depends on
some
what it
pros
is.
and cons in both countries.
Yeah. Yeah, and like things like physiotherapy and stuff, a lot of times if you have decent medical coverage, which like I do, but I get
good.
10 things a year that I can use, and I get like $20 off or something. It's not great, but it's okay.
Yeah. Probably not near enough. I mean,
you got to rethink that mental health and emotional health. That's
well, well, honestly, and I've brought my brother, my little brother, up a couple of times, and he is, his Facebook page is still in the battle. He's a veteran, and he's a great and just amazing advocate, suicide advocate, and we were just talking this past week, and we'll be coming together to do lives, because we were talking about how physical causes mental, mental causes physical, and it just is all. Anybody we've got to do a better job with complete care, and it's not a far stretch to understand when somebody's in that much physical distress, that's going to take a toll on your mind, and just mentally, physically, even spiritually for a lot of people, and then vice versa. So I don't.
For sure.
That's a fight I think we all still need to fight to receive,
Oh, absolutely. And especially with things like chronic illnesses or invisible illnesses or things that people struggle with, like mental tolls that come along with that are huge. Yeah. Like with even just depressive episodes and things like that. And if, mental health care was accessible to everyone, like it would make so much of a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
I go to therapy, but I don't go on a regular basis because it costs $150 for a session. Yeah. And I have 4 kids. Yeah. And I just
do not have
$500 a month.
4 kids.
4 kids.
I'm dead.
4 kids, 2 dogs, 3 cats, 1 husband.
Oh my! Clearly, you're live to the fullest no matter what. I love it, because you could say, I'm my body's not okay, and you could have put a stop to things, But I love that you're just such a full house.
Yeah,
it brings so much happiness, huh? As much as it makes us exhausted sometimes. Like our little granddaughter, I have to either have help watching her, or I have to keep it to like 5-6 hours when it's her and I alone. And she fills me up, like overflowing spiritually, mentally, but my body can't keep up. Yeah. So kudos to you. That's pretty amazing. But you look like you're in your 20s.
Yeah, really.
I'm 35.
You look 10 years younger. Well done.
They're 6 to 12, so they're getting to that age now where they're happy to be left alone if I need time.
That's probably really helpful.
Yeah, it is, and like they're all old enough, or like the older ones are old enough to watch the younger ones. I need a nap.
Yeah,
and
really.
They're like,
we
okay.
remember that.
I know. I was just thinking.
Our youngest is 19, so you got a lot to look forward to.
Our youngest is 19.
It's interesting because in a lot of ways it just gets better and better. You develop mature relationships with them, and they become young adults and then adults, and they appreciate you even more than they did, right? Because they realize as they get into the real world, all the work that's involved behind the scenes that they don't even see. So you got a lot to look forward to. That's great.
Yeah, when
I
they were
figure
when they were younger even than your kids, right now, I'm trying to go into the live at the same time because I want to make sure we get the comments. I don't know where I'm at. He always has to help me.
Well, I want to talk about neurodivergence.
Yeah, we
and
will.
what that even means. And
well, real quick, like I remember when our kids were little, and I don't know if they do this for you, but they'd take their 4 little hands, 2 of them, and just squeeze my head when it was the nerves were
trying to help you.
Now the pain is so much worse. I can't have my head even. No one touches
Yeah,
me.
they're trying
No one
to help
touches. But yeah, they would want to come and provide relief. Like that is such a
mind
children
you,
are
stuff
amazing.
like that too. And
Yeah.
our 10-year-old boy, he just loves to give these like big flying hugs, and they hurt every time, but they're amazing. And like they feel so good.
Yeah, I know.
My favorite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll never tell him to stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say you would never say no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Because one day you'll look back and think, "Where's my flying hugs?"
Yeah,
You know?
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
know.
get
Well,
it.
we've already passed that stage where they talk about you don't realize the last time you pick your kid up.
Yep.
And it makes me really sad. And I'm past that now because I can't pick my 6-year-old up because I've the spine problems and stuff. So
Yep.
And then,
Don't
give me grandkids one day.
Yeah, grandkids
For sure.
is everything everybody said it would be and more. It's pretty incredible. Yeah. So you have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, hopefully it's a while.
And you'll look like you're 30 when you're a grandma. She'll just be rocking the grandma like no other.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. Get me in the live second. I want to make sure we don't miss some of these comments. Are you? I don't know if you're live on your end. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to, if there's comments that you want to stop and read, please feel free. We don't mind at all. Okay, guys, I'm in now. Yeah, but what I want to know before we move on to this other stuff, because I'm always interested in everybody that we've had on that has fibro has had it kind of in a different section of their body, different. I think some of them it's kind of a secondary thing to their main problem or illness. Where does it affect you the most? And daily, what is a part of your daily as far as what it causes for your body?
Muscle pain is the worst for me, but because of that, it's oh my gosh. And I have the brain fog in case you
I do all the time.
I'm struggling to talk.
Ask anyone.
But I have the muscles in the back of my neck are really bad, but that causes me to have migraines. Yep. So I get a migraine behind my left eye like almost daily, and I try. There's a couple things that help it, and sometimes it gets really bad, but it's usually like okay.
I'm just feeling for you because you're talking about because my tumors were behind my left eye, and I get that tension buildup right going up the back of your neck, and those whether they're migraines, tension headaches, cluster headaches, they're horrendous, especially when they end up around the nerves around your eyes. That's when you know you're in trouble. That's not, to me, that's why we laugh at the 1 to 10 pain scale, right? Like, but I just feel for you. I'm so sorry that
Well, and she said that the pain is like 5 times worse than what you would normally.
Yeah, people with fibromyalgia generally feel things about 5 times more than people without it.
Stuff. Yeah.
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 Wow.
In that respect, it reminds me so much of trigeminal neuralgia and CRPS. It's your nervous system is going nuts. So yeah, a light touch, uh, um, even temperature changes, any pressure changes in the atmosphere. It just, our bodies are so
much.
yep, so similar that way.
Yeah.
So is it mostly upper body, or is it your
just all my muscles and my skin?
Oh, word.
Yeah, and I have it's not all the time, but I have the like fiery skin. Sorry, I have to keep playing fetch with my dog.
You're fine.
Or else she bugs me.
We've had people laying down, walking around,
yeah,
yawning.
Oh,
Have you seen
Ashley?
Ashley? Yeah. I hope you get to know some of these people that we consider family, just like we with yours. But we've got some of the most fun. Yeah, we've had eating snacks, eating dinner, whatever. we love it because that's what we want to see, is just as you guys as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, really.
You know, while you do this, even a signal to be like, that's, no more.
So it go too long.
It's an absolute honor no matter what's going on. So if you gotta play fetch with your dog, play fetch. Whatever goes on is great. Let me.
Country Grim, how you doing? She was in here.
Not Grim, it's Girl. Sorry, Country Girl.
Oh, I'm sure it's Grim. No. Grim Country Grim.
I'm so sorry. No, it's
That's
Girl.
All right. I'm sorry.
You guys, and I'm the blind one. What's up? Let's see.
Country Girl. Oh, it's Girl MN.
Yeah.
So that is my fault.
He is so sorry.
So sorry.
Yeah, everyone's talking about the weather, just like we're coming into like fall and winter here, and it's shifting.
Yes.
And it's awful.
Your body really
get
feels
comfortable.
It. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst for me. I don't do well in the cold, and we live in Canada.
Yep.
We live in the warmest place in Canada, but it's still Canada.
Still cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not nice during the winter.
In Utah it gets pretty severely cold as well, but I don't think as long as you guys go through it. But yeah, I get it. Your muscles naturally, and I have really, really, really high fevers, and it actually my fever's been spreading recently, but but I still, in the cold, my muscles are going to react, and they're going to kind of tighten naturally when it's cold, even though I'm fevered. So
Diana's from Ontario.
Yeah, weather, pressure.
Someone's from Toronto in here. Diana.
Oh, and Saskatchewan there, yeah.
Aw, hey guys.
Hey guys.
So nice to have you here. So Country Girl, I don't know, she was saying she went to the ER. They told her they wouldn't treat her at all. I'm sure you've experienced that, or similar, or close. Yeah.
I got kicked out for drug-seeking behavior once.
Did you really?
Yeah. This was like a long time ago, but this is when. So I've had 4 surgeries on my spine, and before the first one, I went into the ER once a week because it was right after I'd had my first kid, and I ended up having like 4 herniated discs, and they were pinching all the nerves and everything. Like, it was bad. It ended up being a medical emergency, and I got like rushed into surgery, but they didn't believe me because I was 25, and
you're young.
I was going in once a week, and they're like, and they kept X-raying me, and they're like, no, there's nothing wrong, and I'm like, listen, I understand that you're doing what you do, but I'm smart, and I did research. I need a CAT scan. Yeah. And they're like, oh, we don't just give those out. And I'm like, ugh. And yeah, they asked me to leave because I was just looking for drugs. And I'm like, no, I'm looking to get better. And I ended up going back a week later, and I happened to get a neurosurgeon who was doing their like yearly ER rounds that they have to do. And he, like, one look, I was in a CAT scan 5 minutes later, and I was in surgery 2 days later.
Oh my
And
word.
I wanted to go find all the people
I know.
that told me that I was wrong.
Yeah,
And be
really,
like,
because
look,
well, and there's a
look at
lot of people that are,
Slap your cat's scan pictures in their face.
you know, it's not
yeah.
it's just another reason why we should all challenge ourselves with judgment and err on the side of compassion, because you know you just don't want to be that person that is wrong when someone's really innocent of something. I mean, that's just nobody, I think, wants to be guilty of that, and so just err on the side of compassion. You know, it's not our place to judge it, and often we're going to be wrong anyway. You know, so
Yeah. And
Well, these are
like,
talks. Go
I
ahead.
understand that people, they're medical professionals and
Yeah.
like we're not,
Mm-hmm.
but who knows your body better than you?
Exactly.
Like, you know what you're feeling. And like, I'm not talking about like hopping on WebMD and figuring out the first thing and going, oh my gosh, I'm dying. But
Yeah.
Right.
like, there's legitimate research that you can do on the internet because you know what's going on, you know what you're feeling. And I don't think that should ever be discredited.
No.
yeah.
It's so whenever I haven't been into the ER since just before COVID because I'm not going to take that risk. But sometimes it gets real close, you know, like I'm about ready to risk getting COVID just to, because, you know, but when I was going more regularly, the hospital that's near us is incredible. And luckily I've only had one doctor there that just, when you said the subtle eye roll, I was like, oh yes. Like where they he just sat and stared, and I was having a hard time talking. So our best friend Julie she's the one that took me. And so she was trying to answer questions, and he'd look at her and like, be quiet. I'm asking the patient. And I was struggling and just rocking back and forth and trying to breathe. And he kind of just was, so you have migraines? I'm just like,
Yeah, like,
I
why are you
have
wasting my
several
time?
layers of nerve pain. But when Rex showed up, this is what's interesting. When Rex finally got there, and Rex talked to him, it changed. So for him, it was, he trusted men more.
Yeah. Oh, those silly women making things up.
Yes.
Or
So
being a baby or whatever. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
But now, after, that's the only experience I've had like that, and I asked them to put in a lot of notes about me and gave them all the things that all the doctors I see, all the procedures I've tried, I've never, or all the medications I've tried. And so I feel like ERs, it's so hard on them because of course they have to deal with life and death first. But I wish there was a way where there was a network where they could check very quickly to see, is this someone who has their doctors, is going to their appointments, has clearly tried procedures and meds and everything that's been asked of them, and then it would be like no question. You know what I mean? Because at that point you've really proven yourself and showed no one in the right mind is going to try even a fourth of the meds that I'm sure all of us have, a lot of us have tried. No one in their right minds would ever want to put stuff like that in your body unless you're desperate. But it's,
my list from just this year is
things
I've tried and stopped, and
I
because
often,
it made it worse or something.
Oh my goodness, yeah, or it just wasn't worth. Some of them just aren't worth the side effects compared to the pain. Yeah. So I'm like, no.
I don't take fibromeds because of that.
Yeah.
I've tried all of them. Yeah. And last summer, I ended up in a wheelchair for almost 6 months, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. It was the meds I was taking. Oh, and I'd been on them for 9 years. That's why no one suspected it. And just suddenly something changed, and the side effects kicked in, and I was fainting. I couldn't, if I stood up, I just passed right out.
Oh my
It was
word.
awful.
So you developed kind of a POTS syndrome then too, where
I was tested for that.
Yeah.
And it was nothing to do with my heart. There was nothing like that, which was, good.
Yeah.
But
it's just that you were doing exactly what people with POTS did. Like, that would be so terrifying. Just to go to stand up and you're just down.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
thankfully I never got hurt too bad, just bruises.
Yeah.
But it's still like,
it's
so easy to hurt
scary.
yourself like that. Like,
But
I got lucky.
One of the things that we like to do is we like to give guests an opportunity to kind of go back and kind of talk where some of the history of when things started. I don't know if that means that just in 2020 you kind of went from being on the outside looking in, and then now really part of it, or whether you have had other things that you've gone through the years. So why don't you take us back however far you want, and kind of talk to us about what some of those things have been that's led up to maybe 2020.
Yeah, 2010 is when I first got hurt. I was traveling for work, and I was picking something up with a few people, and they dropped it on their end, and my brain decided to try to catch it, and that's when I hurt my spine.
Whoa.
And
wow.
Yeah, I couldn't get a doctor to take me seriously then. And so I went about a year, and in that year I had my first kid. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks after the birth was when I started going into the hospital, and they called me a drug seeker and everything. And because just something about the giving birth, it messed it all up again, which
what was it that fell on you? Or what was it that...
It was a ride bucket for a carnival ride.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so. What made them not take you seriously about that?
I have no idea. I think I was young and they just didn't care. But
I almost sometimes think they think this one's just too outlandish. A ride bucket? Really?
Well, a ride bucket sounds like it's something that's a Canada. Do we have ride buckets? And
well, yeah, like on a.
Yeah, I used to build them. It was a kite flyer.
Okay.
So you lay down on your stomach and you spun around.
Okay.
And we had to carry them off of a trailer and hook them up to the poles that hold them, and they weigh about 300 or 400 pounds each.
Oh my gosh! Wow!
So it took four people, and I used to be strong.
Oh,
but
and that was 10
it's a crazy
plus
story.
Years ago. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
11 now. Yeah. And so I ended up having my first surgery on my spine in December 2011, and then again in June 2012, and then in January 2013. And then it was okay for a little while, but
yeah.
What did you have to have surgery for? It didn't break your back. Was it because...
No, my discs, they all herniated at the bottom of my spine, and they were pinching nerves that made it a medical emergency.
So your spine...
I couldn't control my bladder, and...
Oh my.
Yeah. So, fun.
I'm picturing it like your spine probably just kind of collapsed with those discs. And then, you've got nerves in between all of that. And the thing about nerves is they're obviously, and this is why we laugh at my daughter when she's younger. She was trying to find a good way, and she's so hilarious. This is our 19-year-old now, but she's such an hilarious person anyway, but she's trying to figure out a great way to explain me. And she's just you're like a superhero, but backwards. And I'm like, that's the best explanation, actually.
That's
Like,
a really good one.
my nerves are so amazing, but they don't know what to do, you know?
You're strong in all the wrong ways.
They're so strong, but yeah, I'm strong in all the wrong ways. I don't think people realize how much just one nerve that's angry, how much damage that can cause for us, and how much that puts a stop to life. One little nerve.
Nerves are rough.
Yeah.
Well, and the nerves are so bundled with the muscles. So
yeah, and then they spread their tendrils, I call them.
So vice versa, if you've got muscle issue, I mean, you're going to usually have nerve stuff, and it's similar to CRPS, where that was brought on kind of with an injury of some kind. In her case, it was surgery. It sounds like fibromyalgia is kind of similar in that sometimes it gets brought on because there was a trauma of some kind too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I can't pinpoint it. And after I had the 3 surgeries, the next couple years were kind of rough. I've talked about this, but I don't know if you guys know or saw any of the videos. I'm a former addict. I don't know if it was from all the pain meds they gave me or just...
That's really, really brave of you. But, that's so incredibly brave of you to bring up. I've told Rex, and I've talked about it too, while we've been on Other Lives. I've made sure to let people know number one, we've wanted to interview people that have struggled with addiction. And so it just happens to be incredible that you just mentioned that. But one of the reasons why is because we can get, in the pain community, we can get really, the nice way to say it is frustrated. That's part of what causes doctors to go, whoa, and back up and say, we're not giving you, But we have to look at the big picture with all of this, and we have to show compassion to everyone. Look, I will join you. My brain didn't know. They had me on so much. My brain didn't know any better. My brain was full, and my therapist really helped me to understand that you even though doctors gave you all this, and you didn't ask for this, and you were seeking for more, your brain doesn't know any different. So I walked my own butt into a detox hospital and was there for a while. And then I've done it again.
Well, and even whether or not you're looking at it from the standpoint of a dependency that just happens with any person that's being dependent on medication, or whether you feel like yourself that the more appropriate definition is addiction, it is still similar, not just with the compassion that we've got with people that are going through all over the gamut, but she brought up a good point in that the brain goes through things that are really similar, right? In terms of, so it's just a soft spot for us. It's actually ironically the opposite of what you got a lot of stigma that's out there, and even people that are addicted and making making choices that are ruining their life. They still need compassion because there's pain.
I was just going to say, imagine what all of us, if we all had the compassion that was intended for us to, we were given such a great opportunity in this life to take care of each other, and we beat each other down, and the trauma is so real that I don't understand why we're so hard on people that become addicts for whatever reason. I don't care.
Yeah, like you're you're some kind of demon.
I don't care if you live on Skid Row in California in a tent. They have pain at extreme levels. It might not be physical, but it's any one of those people that you would talk to, there's some sort of trauma. Yeah. And I don't know, we just have to be
careful.
It's not our job. It's just not our job to judge. I would never want to be there. I want to quickly, let's see, Paranormally Chaos. Says, does anybody else get massive migraines with their fibro? So you obviously do.
I do.
That is a yes for her.
Because we've got some people, so I think several people in the chat on our end that's got fibro.
Yeah.
That were drawn.
What do you mind sharing what they do for your migraines? Because they're asking, what do people take for those really, really intense migraines?
I can't help. I have Tylenol 3s if it gets bad, but that's the only thing that helps.
Topamax is what someone mentioned. Justin Mom 99 says she gets Topamax.
Yeah, Topamax.
I've never even heard of that.
That one didn't work. That one actually is one of my allergic reaction meds. But I have been on for mine because I get cluster. I get migraines, cluster, and tension. Just depends. I have tried. Oh boy. Here we go. I'm trying to remember. I've tried the medications you can give yourself. Injections, Aimovig. I think we're trying something new soon. I've tried several different medications that you take by mouth. For me right now, the best things that work for me with a combination of other things is almost anything in the tryptin family. So sumatriptan, rizatriptan, there's
Botox.
Botox was really, I would say, and this is big for me to say, I feel like, because we were building up, we were doing really good every 3 months. And as far as I understand it, it really helps you as time goes on, and you're really good with your appointments. And then we switched insurance, and our insurance doesn't want to pay a penny for it, and we don't have $5,000 a pop. So she does Botox. Nurtec. I have that as well. Except that's nasty. If that's the one you have to put under your tongue, oh my word. There's some things I'm like, this is not worth the pain. No. But Nurtec, you guys you're naming them. There's a lot of triptans, and sometimes
the nice
they don't
thing about
feel
one
good,
of these, though, even if some will work for some and some not others,
right? But there's a lot of options.
But there are a lot of safe options. You're working close with a neurologist or a pain management clinic. Mm-hmm. It's
even your pharmacist. My pharmacist, I consider him. We cannot say how much we love. Well, both pharmacists, but especially one of them. He has seen me at my worst several times, and he is. They're just family to me, and they're so gracious, and they're always asking how I am. But he's so careful to watch when I have a new medication come in. He knows enough about me to know when to say, hey, this might be dangerous for her. Or, so really, really get to know your pharmacist.
Yeah, well, that's what Diana's saying is, heck, pharmacists are way more smarter in a lot of these things than doctors are.
They really do have I'm so blessed to have such, I personally, right now have an amazing team. My neurologist, our pain management, our general doctor, my specialized ophthalmologist that does plastic surgery as well, which is why my eye looks half normal after 3 tumors. And then, no, I'm saying he's so good.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then our pharmacist, I I pray every one of you can find those doctors and hospitals and
nerve
treatment
blocks
centers,
you've had.
that you deserve.
You
truly deserve.
You've done, different procedures.
I've done. The thing with me is it's been so long, and I don't think I've said no to anything they've stuck a needle straight between, like no numbing, no hardly any. He just came in, with the kit, and he said, "Do you mind if I try something?" And I was like, "Sure." What else? And Rex was sitting right next to me, and it wasn't a teeny needle either, and he stuck it right between my eyeball and under my brow bone, straight back.
Oh my gosh, nope.
Yeah, so
couldn't.
And he had to really.
Do you have to watch it coming?
Ugh. Yeah, he had to push really, really hard because there's so much scar tissue, and in my head, I was alarmed because between my ears, all I was hearing was crushing glass. And I'm like, I told him what I was hearing, and he said, that's the scar tissue. That's me, the needle trying to push through the scar tissue.
That sounds awful.
Rex is sitting there in just shock, like, what the heck?
And I'm wheezy.
He does, yeah, it's so funny.
I go white.
But, yeah, when they see that you're willing to try what they're asking you to do besides the medications, that's a huge deal, you guys. So just, and then after a while you can really say, look, I've tried and you can prove it, and that makes a big difference. I don't know what to tell, because like you with your diagnosis so soon, they're not gonna, a lot of doctors aren't even gonna look 10 years back like you'd like them to, but there, some doctors and some just in hospitals, or just caretakers, I should say, would look at, well, you're still brand new to this, you're only a year and a half in, when you're thinking, no, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I've been on
go ahead.
I've been on a waiting list for a pain clinic for 4 years now.
What?
Yeah, that's one of the problems with universal healthcare, is that because it's accessible to everyone, sometimes the waits are awful, especially if it's a really specialized thing where there's like maybe one or two, and the waits are years for some things.
What's some things that help you right now, even if it's not medicine related?
I try to stretch a lot. It helps with the muscles, but
That's
I'm not
amazing.
very good at keeping up with it. And I walk as much as I can. I feel better when I can exercise. It's not a cure-all or anything, but when I can, it does feel better. I've really learned my boundaries, and to know when I need to say, no, I need a break from this, or no, that's just too much today, or all that kind of stuff. And
that
my
makes
family
me smile so big.
Really supportive.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
because people, right now people might, look at you and think, okay, what's even wrong with her? But, some of the posts that you shared was that sometimes you have to pause and take a breather, even after you've, doing the dishwasher and different things like that,
I'm so proud I'm so proud of you for like bringing that up, and then also saying, hey, I've gotten to this point, and I've gotten to a point to where, because it is not easy. Us as human beings, we not only push each other, but we push ourselves to be, we think that we need to be indestructible to have value. Yeah. And for you to say, nope, I know my boundaries, and you're willing to say what those are, that's a massive thing. And a lot of us do not do that
sometimes.
Well, and it's also important, like someone mentioned, like somebody doesn't have a great team, and people that are in the comments and things like that. I think it's important to note that there's also limitations with what.
Did you need
with what?
Mine's a little bit lagged, so I'm looking down at the comments. But I just was seeing do you need to? Because you can pause and say, "I'll be right back." So if you need to,
me?
what do I do? Yeah. What did
My
I-
husband's dancing in the background. He said that he's indestructible
No, he's
and he doesn't need help from anybody ever. But when it comes to like chronic illnesses, especially fibromyalgia and stuff, along the same vein of things hurt 5 times more, it takes like 5 times more energy to complete a simple task.
Yeah.
We have the thing I hate the most is the heavy arms. I know a lot of other people deal with that, but after doing things like dishes or folding laundry or anything that's repetitive, I have like a small woodworking business, so anytime I have to hand sand anything, my arms just feel like they weigh 50 pounds and I can barely move them. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you ever share your business, what you do with TikTok?
sometimes
Do you?
I do every once in a while. I haven't made anything in a while. I don't know. There's nothing behind me that I made. But,
Yeah, you guys,
up there
if
there is.
ever,
At the very top, I made some of that stuff.
that's awesome. That's really neat. If
Yeah,
ever,
Jill
especially
Designs,
when we,
if anyone wants to check it out.
that's what I was going to say.
Or on Instagram.
We are more than willing to, because, the name of the game here is love, acceptance, and support. And so we would love to support you by dropping any of your links, especially when our website is up, you guys. It's funny you brought that up because I was just telling Rex a couple days ago that I would love to feature someone's business or someone's talent and just on our page for a couple weeks at a time so that they can get volume and they can get sales, because a lot of us are living so much even with what insurance covers, a lot of us can be left with a massive copay or just we pay straight out of pocket. So any support we can give each other, it's just such an expensive business to be ill.
Yeah, my husband and I both have like small woodworking businesses just to bring in like a little extra cash. His is Hagen Craftworks. He does like big table builds a lot and stuff, and they're amazing.
When we're done, email us those. I would love to.
I will.
Well, that's what this is about,
I think Sean's in the comments dropping the
Is he?
Instagram handles, but I think so.
On your side or ours? Tell him to come over here.
On mine.
Oh.
Only yours.
Hey, I just mentioned yours. You should put yours in too.
Yes, please. He sounds like so much fun.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a good.
He's
He's got a good
smiling.
support group. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really lucky.
Let me see. So, let me go back because there was a comment. Country girl, we're so happy that you feel like you have people you can talk to. Oh, you were saying, Country girl, that you won't have your nerves burned because you're scared it will hurt you. It very well could. I've not had all of my procedures. I haven't had the best outcome, but there's many that it has helped tremendously, and so I would never tell any of you what to do, but we certainly, I certainly can say I know that there's a lot of people that have benefited. So maybe really have a longer talk with one of those doctors about because they can freeze your nerves as well. And there's a host of things, and then I don't know if all of your states or how it is in Canada with cannabis. Utah just passed that not long ago, going on a year. Medical cannabis. You better believe I was one of the first on that list, and I'm that doesn't even. My doctor was laughing because I have the tincture, I have the vape, I have the cream, the gummies, and he was saying, "Does it work?" And I said, "It's not touched them yet. It does not touch my nerves." But there's so much to try just within that realm. There's so many strains of it. There's so many strengths of it. So, her normally chaos. You're from Utah. That's
Utah.
Amazing.
Shout out. We're from Utah. We're in Utah.
Yep. You are not far from us, my friend. But if you, I highly suggest looking into that. Is it going to be more out of pocket? Sure. But I love the thought of it being more natural. I was praying that would be passed, and in my opinion, it should have been passed far, far before it was. Just to give people with some serious pain and diseases. We all know that we've seen how, I'm sure everybody's seen at some point, how it helps with seizures, or it helps with your stomach if you're nauseous. And a lot of us get very nauseous when the pain's bad enough, when it gets too bad. So if you don't have that at your fingertips yet, and you're interested in it, you'll be in my prayers that comes along soon. What is it like in Canada? Is that something that's available to you guys, or?
Oh yeah, readily.
Awesome.
I'm horribly allergic to it.
Are you really?
So, yeah, like awfully. I tried in high school, and then I got just really, really sick, and then
I don't mean to
years
laugh.
Ago, yeah.
When you say allergic, I'm thinking, so does that mean I'm allergic? Because I want to kind of find out what happened, because
it's been a long time, but it makes me horribly sick, like puking, dying, hives, sick.
Did you actually feel too, like in your brain messed up? Because I felt like I genuinely could die. And when I went back and told them, I think I need to go to the lower dose, because they started me at the highest THC level, because my pain can get so severe. Well, I had a hard, and I mean hard, high for over 8 hours, and then another 6 hours. But it was scary to me. I genuinely thought,
because she didn't mean
that I
to.
could die.
She didn't mean to.
I actually did everything
we had to adjust the.
But when I went and told them what happened, I made a lot of people's day. I had people rolling, because all their employees that work at the clinic, they all take, and I think that's amazing that they hire people that are actively using it for different conditions, because they're so compassionate.
Seizures and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. But it was the best thing they've heard in a while, because I was, what was I kept saying time and space, I guess. Time and space.
Space and time.
Space and time. Because everything slowed down, or it goes super fast. I kept telling my daughter, because she's sitting next to me on the bed, she had to babysit me until Rex got home. And I kept telling her, Abby, come back. And it was so hard to even form words. You're so heavy, and you're so... And she's like, Mom, I'm not going anywhere. But her body, to me, kept floating away. And I kept trying to reach for her. My balance was off. I was seeing spirits come in the room and out of the room. I spoke to God. When I told them that's when I was like, oh no, I had a conversation with the highest.
Too strong of a dose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, let's lower that right away.
We were in there pretty quick to say, oh, we got some kind of ratio wrong.
Rex just kept going. I remember Rex just kept saying, just ride through it. Just ride the wave. He was a frying pan at one point. I don't know what that was about. I was leaning my head on him and flipping my head like an egg. I don't know. It was too big of a dose.
Yeah, I tried the just the oil that you like put under
Yep.
your tongue that
Yep.
has no THC, and it still made me feel sick. So
The
I just
CBD
Wow,
stuff.
really? Yeah, you're
yeah,
allergic. Yeah, for sure.
I gave up.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
it's interesting.
actually no, I didn't give up then. My husband, when
Yeah.
we had first started dating, my doctor had told me to try the like a little bit of a gummy.
Yeah.
So he bought me one because he had a card,
Yeah.
and I ate like the smallest corner of it, and I could not get out of my bed for like 6 hours. I couldn't even move. I couldn't turn my head because it was spinny
Yep.
like I had drunk a full bottle of tequila, and
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
throwing up, and it was so gross, and it's just no,
Well, it's
not for me.
So what we're saying, you guys, is approach very carefully.
Yeah, but it does great things for some people.
Yes.
Like so good.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
not for everyone.
No, it's not. And certainly not the highest dose. Maybe don't try that right off the bat. I do just fine half and half THC, half CBD, but I still have yet to feel that it's helping the real nervy pain. It might help relax, but it's even hard to tell with that because when you're in so much pain, you naturally clench. And when you naturally clench, and you would know this with your back, your neck, and probably your jaw. Do you clench your jaw a lot too?
Always.
Yeah.
Like all day.
Mm-hmm. Without even knowing. Without even like
Yeah.
thinking about it. It's just like you have to think about it to say relax.
Yeah, like have you ever come across those Facebook posts that are like, okay, well, you're tense, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, and I'm like, everything, and I don't even realize it.
It's like we don't know how. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Give me something else to relax it. It is weird. No, I guess it's not weird. It's I guess it comes along with the territory, right? It's our body literally saying this is not. I'm not right. This isn't right. And the natural thing to do is clench up when you're when you're feeling crap. So I'm sure this is for you as well, even in your sleep, the clenching. And it gets scary. I feel like I can literally crack my teeth with how hard I clench.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
I'm also constantly moving around. Always. When I'm sleeping, I feel bad for my husband.
Girl, we have similar issues. It's too funny. Let's see what people are saying.
But he snores, so we're even.
Well, and people, whether it's people looking to get information about what they can do to work with different physicians or medication options, a lot of times people are just looking, like we're seeing in the comments, for people to just have connection with other people that are going through things and to feel acceptance and helping them cope, right? I mean, we're not pretending that we've got all the answers,
no, but as a small army, this is what we kind of hope. Because you guys, if you haven't seen this show called Diagnosis, it's a newer show, and the woman that thought it up is a doctor, and what they do in this show is they'll choose people that are just at their end. They don't know what else to do. They don't know who to go to. They are tired of feeling like they're crazy. It's in their head. And what she has done in this show is opened it up to the public. And a lot of people just come in with, hey, that sounds like what I go through. Or ask your doctor to test you for this. And they have diagnosed a good amount of people that way now. And for a doctor to recognize that we could use the help of sufferers it was such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I just look at, these interviews and us kind of becoming together or coming together as a family, that this is exactly what we would never come out and say, this is what you have. But we certainly can say, hey, that sounds like something I've gone through. Maybe ask your doctor to test you for this, or maybe ask your doctor about this medication. we absolutely can help each other.
Yeah.
Which is
I
why
get so many people who are like, "Oh, I didn't know that was fibromyalgia. I
yes,
didn't know that was part of it."
yeah,
And I always tell people to keep lists, like a daily journal of their symptoms, and bring it to their doctor. And it makes a difference when they can look at
yeah,
something, and you're not just trying to explain it. And you're like, "No, this is this day, and this day I felt okay, but then this
yeah,
day I thought I was gonna die." And then
yep.
Yeah. In fact,
Go,
I just think that, you know, Jackie's talking about how people are still feeling alone. 5 or 6 people say that they're ready to give up because they don't have any support. Just the last couple of
oh,
days,
please, you guys,
you know,
don't,
I,
please,
I, I
no,
can't overstate the importance of, if you are participating in these lives in any way, that one of the biggest takeaways that you can serve others is to help them
yeah.
feel like that they are now in a better position to cope. Because
and that you are not alone.
yeah, because you know,
no, never alone.
yeah,
No,
because
I'm sure. I'm
It's
sure.
so isolating.
Oh
yeah,
my word, yeah. And sometimes we don't even tell our closest loved ones because we don't want to put any more burden on them. So a lot of times we hold quite a bit in so that it's not such a burden on their shoulders, right? But come to us. Come to any one of us. We are there's no other word than just family. And honestly, we're the safest people sometimes that you can come to because we know where you're at or know where you've been enough to, not saying that we know everything you're going through, but we know enough to have real empathy and compassion.
yeah, like, you know,
Yeah.
like more. I think it's a little over half of the suicides are because of chronic pain related, and
That's awful.
It
I
is.
I think that if the only thing that was changed was that people challenged the stigmas of shame and you know, guilt and embarrassment, and they stopped feeling that for themselves, and they started having support, you know, around them that was not, that looked at it as an inspiration. If they had that coupled with, I can be open and share things that I would otherwise hide, and I have love and acceptance instead of judgment, and then I have tools to cope, whether that's talking with someone or, you know, connecting with someone. If only those 3 things changed, and we didn't talk about anything else like these meds and all these other, you know, procedures and things, I know that percentage can significantly reduce. I mean, of course, you know,
Absolutely.
1% is too much, but goodness grief, you know, if and that's something that we all have control over, and we all have a responsibility, uh, where we can make choices to make a difference in the people's lives that are suffering, so that they're feeling like, you know what, that's really different. I'm not embarrassed about something. I'm not feeling ashamed. I'm not feeling hopeless. I feel like I can at least cope with it, even though I'm still suffering or I'm having a hard time or whatever, but I feel less alone. You know what I mean?
Those are the last things
Yeah.
any of you should feel.
I really make a conscious effort to reply to any messages I get on Instagram. Sometimes it takes me weeks,
I know.
but I try to, as long as, you know, they're not, it's, some of
Yeah.
them just don't need
Yeah.
replying to, but like people who are actually reaching out, I try to reply to them. I
That's
also
amazing.
do dumb crap on my on my TikTok,
Mhm.
trying to destigmatize things.
Yes, for
'Cause
sure.
I have a lot of, like, I have IBS and stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
it's gross. It's a gross thing to talk about, but
I do too.
it's,
She does too.
Yeah, I
Um,
said there's nothing.
Bloatedness
Listen,
and things
we're
that can
we're
happen,
yeah,
or just
we're
I don't know if
actually
you saw it, but I yesterday I did like maternity shoot with my bloated belly
oh,
because
I
it
saw
was
that.
just
I
ridiculous,
I
and it
saw.
was huge.
good for you.
And then
Yeah.
afterwards, for somebody on the internet, I weighed that baby before and after. Weighed me, not it, but and because I deal with that. It's awful, and it's
Yeah.
just I
Yeah,
like
the
people to know
digestive
they're not
system
alone.
can.
And
Yeah, I mean that
It's literally one of the most painful and scary things that I personally experienced, and I finally just started looking up, like, what's going on, 1 second. And it is, for me and my diagnosis, it directly relates, and it's something that just comes along with it. I didn't know that. But it makes so much sense because it's a whole nervous system thing. Yeah. So it's just our nervous systems are really, really struggling. And IBS, I love when people bring up, it shouldn't be a gross thing when we talk about it. It's life.
Yeah.
It's
what's the thing that's happening?
Oh yeah, so I'm on a new med for that.
That's made a huge difference. So I got to a point where I was telling Rex, my pain can be off the charts, but I have lived with it so long that I've learned techniques to deal with it. I've learned to just breathe. If that's all I can do, just tell myself, take another breath. But IBS was a whole different beast because it could hit whenever it wanted, and you do not have any time. You do not. So I became stranded at home because, like, we couldn't go on even drives anymore because that became a real high risk for me. And I don't know why it took me so long to mention it to my doctor. Mm-hmm. But once I found out that it's just connected to my CRPS, and he prescribed me, I'll have to let you guys.
Your whole body is just like, ah.
Yep. But once it's take as needed medication, and it's supposed to work within 10 minutes-ish. And that has gave me freedom, that just that little thing alone really hasn't helped my pain, hasn't helped, but it has calmed my nervous system down enough to where I haven't had an IBS attack for almost a month.
Oh. Wow. I need a new chair. Boy, there's your sign. I gotta lose some weight or something.
No, you don't. Oh my gosh.
I'll be right back.
It's a cheap little, just use that one. Huh? Just pull that one up.
Yeah, we were hiking out in the woods the other day, and just instantly I'm like, oh no.
What?
We were out hiking, and I had an IBS attack, like out in the woods. It's just
I'll have to let you know, because this med, for me anyway, and I don't experience any side effects. The only real thing that to me that was a little bit triggering or a warning, I guess, was that it could cause more. It could cause the opposite, constipation. No one wants that either. But I'm really careful with my superfood powders, and supplements and things like that I make sure things are moving regularly, and it genuinely now has given me so much more quality of life back.
That's awesome.
Do you want to run and get my med bag, and I can let you know
what the name of it is?
Uh-huh.
Sure.
He's nervous about the chair.
That's okay.
That was so funny.
I wanted to
Rex
hear.
Okay, but are you okay?
Rex needed the tension. It wasn't his turn, but he was like, "Forget this."
Yeah, Mr. Good Vibes. He said, "Thank you guys. Appreciate the live, but I can't ATM." What does that mean?
At the moment.
I can't at the moment.
I wanted to say, and Mr. Good Vibes, I noticed this, a couple of your comments, and if you're still on, I'm so genuinely sorry, for what you're going through. I don't, but he said he's tired of the bad news. He's getting it all the time, and a lot of times that happens. It seems like it's one thing after another thing after another thing. And then you said you were given 3 to 4 years left. I don't know what you have. You'll be in our prayers, and we're here, and please don't stop coming and reaching out. Thank you for being here and sharing such vulnerable things. I can't imagine what you're going through. I just can't. But we're here as best we can. Will you get me back into the live?
Yes, I will. Let me hope to not break another chair.
Or take my iPad off. I'm taking my iPad away from him. What was that? Will you get me back into the live?
You guys want to hear a solo, a wipeout solo? No.
That'll be for one of our so.
Here, right
So
there.
some of you joined when I just kind of did an impromptu live, but we'll be. So let me just say this. You're probably thinking, what in the crap is that background? Well, I share a room with our little granddaughter when she comes over. Sure. And we're just finishing, haven't quite finished it yet, but we're just finishing her nursery / my office, which means more lives and more giveaways.
So I'm going to show you a little bit of the room. So this is her office.
/ nursery. The entire closet is the nursery too. You can go this way, because that's not really my office. Hold on. Keep it up.
She's got it as like a nursery for our granddaughter, and we've got it to where it's also her office.
But it's done enough now.
It looks really nice.
It's done enough now. I don't know if you can see. Won't show that wallpaper. We're getting there, but it's a big deal for me because I have to feel really peaceful and comfortable, like all of us in our spaces. But this is where we'll start doing our giveaways again on our lives and just having game nights or just hanging out together on Zooms, which we can get quite a lot of people on there now.
Yeah, we've got some different places. It's kind of fun. Sometimes we're in another room, and we got a few different rooms that we.
Yeah. So any of you that suffer with IBS, and haven't tried anything for it yet, what I have is called hyoscyamine sulfate. That was awesome. Whatever. Sounded like Bigfoot. We have a Bigfoot
That's my
sighting.
husband in the kitchen. Yeah.
That's too good. So hyoscyamine sulfate.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out. It's worth it. It's worth a try, I think. Because we know IBS isn't funny.
No, you wanted to talk about neurodivergence. What were your questions about that?
Let's talk about that before we let you go, because I know it's getting probably late where you're at. Yeah. What does that mean?
No, we're before you. It's only 6:20 here.
Oh, okay.
What's it called again?
It's neurodivergence. Okay. It's like a blanket term for basically your brain doesn't work the same way. ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, dyslexia are all things that like fall under it. Mm-hmm. I'm neurodivergent, but because we had talked earlier about how all the like high costs of mental health coverage in Canada, where we are, doesn't exist, and it's just really expensive. I'm not diagnosed with anything. So I just use it as like a blanket term because I don't know what I have. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, but I don't know. So I don't throw misinformation out there.
Yeah.
But again,
it might be something
you
completely
mentioned
different.
How
but
you know your body. You know what I mean? So often we're right on the money of what we're trying to say. Look, I really think this is what's going on in my head, my body, whatever. So what can we do to help? Do you use any natural products, oils, anything like that, or Um, any,
I use like pain relief creams, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I have the ones from Outback Pain Relief right now, and they're really
Yeah.
good for the muscles. They're really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like. I kind of just deal with everything because I don't like most of the medications. They make me just feel awful,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
like I take antidepressants, and I have medication that helps me stay sleeping. I have no trouble falling asleep, but I can't stay that way.
Yeah.
So I have meds for that. But other than that, I just take Tylenol 3s when I need them.
That's
Which
crazy.
is, as my back's healing from my recent spine surgery on August 30th, it's less and less, which is getting really nice
I
again.
can't believe that you're just plugging through on really so little. Listen, I mean, not everybody's into essential oils. We have been for 18 plus years. And we're partial to Young Living. But if there was ever a time where you wanted to try something, please reach out and let me know.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, because there's some great things that you can put on the bottom of your feet, behind your ears, down your neck that would relax you, and even a diffuser where it's diffusing when you're wanting to get rest. But
yeah, I had one of those, and I used it for like a month, and then I just never bothered again.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it is anymore. Oh, I used it.
That's, you know what?
Rude.
They have even roller balls where you can make your own blend. You know what I mean? And just roll it on your wrists, behind your ears, under your feet. You know, I never get, if I were to send something to someone to try, that's gone. That's your business. I don't get offended either way. Either you like it or you don't. You know, it works for you or it doesn't. But it's another option, and it's something that we have. I have a big giveaway. It's growing, but we are fortunate to get a lot of products at a discount. A lot of really healthy supplements and oils, and so those will be in the giveaways. And those are some of the lives that we want to start doing now that this office is almost finished. And I'll be in here more. So the more you guys email or friend us on Facebook and message us, I would love to reach out and talk to you. And all three of us are inviting you to do that. Reach out. Please do not suffer in silence or solidarity. It's that's the stuff that I have nightmares over. I can't handle that thought.
Sorry,
But
I have.
Go ahead.
I'm going to plug it. I started a Facebook support group.
That's
if anyone wants to join, we are. The link is in my TikTok bio. If anyone's interested.
Oh, cool!
Amazing.
There's just over 600 people now, but it is the best group of people. It's awesome, and it's not. I've been in a bunch of different like Facebook support groups,
Yeah.
and one of the reasons I decided to start my own was because it was just a whole bunch of like, no, I hate my life, everything sucks, but no, I don't want to try to make it better. I just want it to be better, but I don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of really sad people who they just wanted change, but they weren't willing to work for it.
Right.
It was really kind of like sad sacky.
Yeah.
But this one's not, and I really like that about it. And yeah, just awesome people. So the link's in my bio and TikTok and Instagram. If
we
Perfect.
would love to
Yeah,
join.
we've already got some people, or one at least that's sent your request. So hopefully we can be part of
awesome
getting people connected with you as well.
Yeah, vice versa. Anybody that wants to. We're trying to grow our YouTube, you guys. YouTube's much slower. I think we all know that with they just are with followers, and we're trying to get to 1,000 so we can start doing our lives there. I mentioned this. I'll probably keep mentioning it because the bigger we are, the more we can do for each other. And Spoonful of Sugar is official business, but we we're still working on the nonprofit, but that won't be very long. And at that point, the more of us that can come together and share these videos and share each other's links and just get it out there, the more we can do as far as getting something physically to you, as a reminder that you are loved and needed and so incredibly important. I wish that everyone could feel their true value. I look at you as absolutely Heavenly Father's, some of his most precious, and nothing you're going through is in vain. You're bettering the world, and you're making people rethink their own lives, and being thankful for the blessings that are passing in front of them every minute, because so often we get so busy and so just kind of like a tunnel vision, and you're shaking it up, and we love it. You're doing amazing things. And so when I hear people or see people that are ready to give up, that's so heartbreaking, because we genuinely would be losing angels. We are losing angels, and we're losing some of the best that are on this earth, and we can't afford that. We can't afford it. So if you know, the likes, the shares, for what she's created, which is amazing. 600 on Facebook. That's not easy to get to either. That's incredible.
Yeah, really.
That shows what an incredible group.
Such a good group of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
So let's go support her. What's it called?
It's called Fibro Family, but there's so many that it's the links in my bio, and
yeah.
I think the links on Instagram too.
I actually join a lot of groups that have that aren't my specific diagnosis, but I love learning, and I love, because everyone's story is so personal. I love learning about all of you, and I love being there just to support, just to heart someone's comment, show them some love.
Yeah, really.
That way, if you're sick yourself, it's not hard to push a button and show them some love that way.
Especially if you've experienced the opposite of that. You know, if you've been bullied and things, it's just very healing to be able to connect with people that really care and they're welcoming. And I'm seeing that here with Butterfly and Country Girl and things. And so we encourage more of that. That's the kind of thing that we want, you know, for everybody to be engaged with, because, you know, you never want to underestimate, you know, the impact that you can have.
Yeah, Country Girl, hang in there.
Yeah.
There's no giving up. No giving up.
Did you? What your name again was?
Jillian.
Jillian.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Country
No,
Girl.
Jillian. I just want to remember that.
I'm like, it's not Country Graham. I know that.
No. Yeah. Yes. We established that. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for anybody that's been bullied or intentionally isolated. It's different when we do it ourselves, but when you've been left behind by people, especially by people that you really trusted, my word, that's brutal. And it's not happening here. I sincerely have a love for you guys. It's such an honor. I can't think of any other word. So you were telling us about, here's my brain fog for you. You were telling us about brain frog, exactly.
The brain frog.
I can't remember the name of the other. Well, you were explaining how it's a cluster of mental things. It sounds like
Neurodivergence.
Yeah, the neurodivergence.
Yeah, neurodivergence.
So you're just kind of dealing with that, which makes sense.
On top.
Well, it's the problem is, especially with stuff like that, sometimes diagnosis is a privilege, and it's for me, I've talked to my therapist about it. It takes somewhere between 4 to 6 sessions in a row, like at
Yeah.
least weekly, preferably, 2 a week.
Yeah.
And I, again, with 4 kids and $150 a
That's
session,
that's insane.
I'm not swinging that.
Yep.
If it was for one of the kids, absolutely. But I live in my weird little bubble. I know what my brain's like. I deal with it most of the time. My husband's going to laugh at that one because I probably don't deal with it very
He's
well
like,
most
do
of the
you
time.
now?
But
Do you? Oh my gosh.
here's
Hey,
Oh, it's so good to meet you.
what's up? Nice to
He's
meet
like, I'm
you.
out.
he ran away.
He's like, I'm here
Sit
to
beside me
dance
then.
and distract you. That's all. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've. Let's just really take care of each other. Support each other with numbers. Support each
Come say
other
hi.
if you have a few bucks to
Hey.
purchase something for someone else. Oh, it's really, really good to meet you. I love that. I love that you're. Can we see some of the dance moves that were hidden behind the camera? Is what I want. That's a
You
no.
can't hear.
I'm on a 3-second delay because I'm
There.
watching the live,
Yeah,
so I'm on a 3-second delay.
yeah.
Awkward.
I can't hear anything out of that ear.
Oh,
No.
well, that's the
But
ear it's
this
supposed
is
to
your
go
party.
in.
I just came to say hi because you
Okay.
kept beckoning me over.
We were saying that we want more dance moves.
They want more dance moves.
Well, those are for you, though.
He says they're just for me.
Oh,
Aw,
well, you got to pay for
that's
that.
lucky you.
That's behind the paywall.
Yeah.
What's your husband's name?
Sean.
So,
Well, it is a pleasure.
nice to meet you, man.
Yeah.
We are always so thankful for amazing caretakers and partners.
Nice to meet
we
you.
just,
Again, I'm delayed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just let you relay to him that we just
Here,
want to
I
say a
can.
heartfelt thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
There, now you can hear.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, that works.
Woohoo!
I got lucky with him. His career is in mental health. He works with adults with developmental disabilities. So
That's incredible.
Oh, wait, it's going through my phone now, too.
so he's always been really good with any like mental health episodes I've had or anything. He really understands.
Yeah.
And this is my second marriage, and my first marriage was not like that. So
Right.
it's
Mine
been
either.
so
A
good. Yeah, I know
blessing.
yours neither.
Aw,
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you sincerely from all
Yeah,
of us for being such a great man and
Support.
support, and sometimes in that caretaker role, depending on what kind of a day she has. There's just not, we can't thank amazing partners and people.
Some days are so hard, and
Yeah.
especially like recently, like I had major surgery a
Mhm.
month and a half ago, and
Yeah.
it's been a lot, and it's starting to get better, but
Yeah.
still,
We got a great team, though.
yeah,
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
we're lucky. My parents live close, and our in-laws
Oh,
live really
good.
close.
Our in-laws. My parents live, like...
Oh, our in-laws,
They're
his
the
parents
trolls.
live in our basement suite.
Really?
So
Yeah.
they're around.
Yeah,
to
how
help
much
out.
fun do you think that is to get to look at my dad and go, my roof, my rules? Yeah.
We have our...
Well, they've been living up north, and they weren't wanting to live up there anymore. And it was the exact same time that we were buying a house. So we're like, well, why don't we buy a house that has a suite for you? And then you don't have to, live up north anymore. So
Yeah.
it worked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, is it working out good? Sounds
yeah,
like it is.
great.
That's awesome. That's really neat.
Yeah.
We all get along, which is
I
nice.
love that.
And
I'm so
I probably
happy
get along
for
the
you
worst.
guys.
you
So
definitely
happy.
get along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I don't know,
have,
I'm never
we've mentioned Julie a lot here, our, one of our dearest friends, and she lives, in a basement studio with us. All of our kids are out of the house, but yeah, same thing. We get along so well, and we enjoy each other's company, and What a blessing. What a blessing. Because not everybody has this. There are people that have had their spouses, their partners walk out completely. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at her comments on her live. Little Man Adventures.
Yeah.
This one is convinced I have fibro as well. I have been raised in a way, and like I'm 41.
Right.
So rub some dirt on it, keep going. Right. And that's sort of how I do things. But like I wake up where I'm like, don't touch me. And like my eye hurts for no reason. And like just everything she described. But I have such a, put my head down and go through it attitude to life that like, is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable? Also, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think men probably are just as likely to have fibro. We're just only coming into a culture where men get to show anything other than anger and happiness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they say that only, I think it's 5 to 10% of fibromyalgia diagnosed people are male, but I think there's a lot more because women are a lot more likely to go into a doctor. And this sounds so sexist, even when I say it, but
It's
women are more
right.
likely to go into a doctor for like the little things
You're
that
100%
lead up to
right.
a fibro diagnosis. And
in 2013, I was finishing my psychology degree. I was doing an internship. I was working full time. I was taking 2 classes. I was raising 2 kids. And I was still the front man in a band that had a weekly gig.
Wow.
And you almost died of pneumonia.
I got sick at Halloween. And they wanted to hospitalize me over Christmas because I had pneumonia. But I've got that whole male, don't be a baby, put your head down and push through it. And I literally pushed through it to the point that like some days I was worried I was going to die. Other days I was worried I wouldn't die. So, men are dumb.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, it's culture.
Thank you so much for being willing to share that. As a man, I can't remember. We had a couple on Turn TikTok Purple where, such a sweet husband and wife couple, and he was the one has the conditions, and she is the caretaker, and it's such an amazing thing when a man can just come forward and say, look, I know this is out of the norm. I know this isn't, what most men like to do. Hey, but I'm suffering too. And that's another bunch of stigmas we have to work on, and we're not doing well enough, fast enough. But I think it's very manly of you, of what.
As men, we've heard of self-medication, right? Which is where addiction issues in men come from in a lot of cases. Exactly. It's easier to pour a bottle of whiskey down your throat and carry on, right?
Yeah.
So
true. So true. If men felt like they were able, and that it wasn't such a negative thing still.
We're getting there, though.
We are.
The continued battles against toxic masculinity. Guys are starting to share more feelings.
Yeah.
We need to quiet down certain populations that are fighting feminism, and that incel group probably needs to be taken care of. But like, we're getting there. My best friend is a very conservative, right-wing Christian man. I'm a former pastor turned spiritual agnostic. Yeah. And so we had some pretty intense conversations. We were chatting just last night about it. Yeah. And just the way culture's changing, and in a lot of ways for the better, and from some perspectives, for the worse a little bit. But I mean, it's getting down to humanity. And like you were saying at the beginning of the live, Rex, it's about getting down to compassion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really.
That's really what it boils down to: is
our diversity,
is serving, loving. Honestly, get completely off the judgment trail. Yeah. If you're still trekking that trail, wrong trail.
Because the irony is that I find sometimes you find the most judgment in the places that
should be the safest.
Originally started with the most compassion.
Right.
I mean, like, how many Christianities and different, not that I'm like, pinning any certain denomination or whatever, but I know that there's a tendency for that to be, unfortunately, where a lot of people do experience judgment, and that's not what it was intended to be. It kind of turned in ways.
No, it's about love.
Yeah.
And as a former pastor, like, I've studied it pretty aggressively, and like, I just boiled it down to that it's fear of church more than fear of God, not fear in the sense of being terrified of. Well, in the sense of fear of the church, it is. But rather than, I mean, if people actually read their Bible and got to know who Jesus was, I don't think the church would look like it looks, and I'm not convinced I would have left it. Right? But, in the words of many arena announcers back in the day, I look at a lot of the modern churches and I just think Elvis has left the building. So in this case, Elvis is Jesus.
Yeah. One of the best things that I did for myself and my health was kind of deciding to walk away from something that was organized and something that I could really, really be in touch with my Heavenly Father, my Savior, myself. Because it took out all of the other human expectations, human emotions, and it's become such a peaceful time in my life to just sit with Him by myself.
Not get distracted by a lot of the human elements that can
what I'm not doing enough of, what I'm not doing good enough.
Checklists, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I completely agree. Country Girl says her dad's a reverend as well. I hope some of you that are part of a religion, or you have family members that are in callings in churches, or there's absolutely no. I hope that you feel like I get upset as well when I feel like there's an attacking. If someone's attacking a certain religion, or
especially because there's so many good people in all walks of life.
Exactly. We cannot put.
Well, that's exactly it, right?
Yeah. So
I know when I walked away and quit pastoring, they started a rumor at my old church. And I left a very toxic situation.
Yeah.
But I also know it's not like that. I know some fantastic people that are still in the ministry and who still go to church. But some of the stuff that has been said in the past, it's unfortunate. But again, it really comes down to, where's your focus?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We have to boil it down, and like it's so often mentioned in scriptures, to refine ourselves, or allow Him to refine us. And when that happens, you're really only looking at a few principles, and that is love and service, compassion, and get the hell off the judgment train. Just get off.
Because we talk a lot about grace.
100%.
Grace is huge in terms of what we all are deserving of and can receive. It just we lose sight of that, how that's important.
Especially when you're someone that is suffering
with pain. You need that even oftentimes more so, right? There's a higher sensitivity. Because you're trying to live life with the expectations of just all the other people around you, and then you've got the degree of difficulty that's been exponential, and then you're all supposed to just keep to everybody's standards. That's just going to be overwhelming, to people. You know?
I
Yeah,
do.
and
Go ahead.
like I grew up in the church. My whole family's very, very religious, and we moved around a lot. And I don't think I've ever been to two churches that are the same when
Wow.
it comes to who they accept and love and all
Right.
that. And I don't think that's how it should be. It's just everyone, you know, just love everyone. Be compassionate for everybody. You don't need to
I need a sock puppet.
You guys are awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I think culture's getting better. You're getting
Yeah.
more acknowledgement and acceptance. And I mean, as somebody who works in healthcare adjacent fields, you know, you were talking about ER doctors earlier
Yeah.
and ER staff. I mean, you're talking about some of the most overworked, burnt out
Oh,
people.
yeah,
and,
exactly.
Yeah.
you know, they've seen it all. I was hanging out with my best friend and I took a phone call from an individual I know who, you know, lived on their own and in and out of addiction, in and out of prostituting herself to get what she needs.
Mhm.
And, you know, we had a relationship and she phoned me and said, I'm going to kill myself. And I said, well, don't.
Yeah.
And I responded in a really just matter of fact way. And I said, okay, like she has a phone tree. And we went through it. And I said, you know, I'll hear from you in an hour. Like, you've got this. Don't worry about it. And I hang up and he goes, what was that? Like, what do you mean? You should be on the phone with, like, and they don't know. And I realized that to me, it was a perfectly normal interaction. And to him, I sounded like an absolute monster with no compassion for this girl. But the reality is we've been through this cycle so many times that to me it's routine and I know what to say to her.
Right. Right.
And I think it's hard because sometimes doctors, they paint with a broad brush. I work with, you know, in Canada, it's hard. We're going through some pretty big skeletons being pulled out of our closet. So I'm not sure what the term is. I'm going to go with Indigenous, and I apologize if I'm wrong. I work with an Indigenous man with an acquired brain injury and seizure disorder and all sorts of other things going on with him. And he looks like he's drunk all the time.
Yeah.
And he talks like he's drunk all the time.
Yeah.
You take him to the hospital or the doctor and they treat him like he's drunk all the time. And then it comes on me to advocate for him.
Wow.
And say no. And going back to it, when we were talking about the hospital, like in Canada, our medical system it's what you said. You'll fix you if you're broken. They'll, you know, keep you alive.
Yeah.
Everything else is basically you better hope you have good extended medical coverage through your company.
Right.
To get the rest. But our entire system only works with advocacy.
Yep.
And you have to be a strong self-advocate. Which is where...
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm the one who told you to start journaling back in the day.
You can take that credit.
No. I swear I did, but...
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
But...
Because,
yeah, you need to be that person for yourself. Sorry, our dogs are just all over us.
You're...
Yeah, give yourself...
Look at them trying to get love. They're like, excuse me.
This one's Sally, and this one's Meatloaf.
Aww,
his and her dogs.
We love our animals.
Yeah, we miss ours passed away this year.
Yeah, we lost our little buddy.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, it is.
That's so hard.
We all said, and he wasn't with us long. He was about to turn 5. And
I went through that.
He went down quick, but we all said that the loss of Charlie was in many ways harder than the loss of some human beings, because they're so unconditional. They're so in tune with when we're not well, when we need something. They're so just endlessly loyal, and that broke our hearts and still does. So I love seeing them just love on you guys.
These are the first dogs I've ever had.
Really?
I've always had cats.
Yeah.
But
I've always been a dog guy.
Yeah.
So now we're both.
And it's just a big happy family.
Huge. But yeah.
I love it. I love it.
No, come on.
We could have a couple more kids.
11 up, 3 down. There's 14 life forms in this house if you don't count the bugs.
He's like, what? Well, if
No,
you
it's
keep
enough.
dancing,
We have
what
enough.
do you expect?
Yeah.
Keep dancing for her. You're gonna have more kids. Hi.
Hello.
Cutie.
This is Alex.
Thank you for interviewing my mom.
Oh, you're welcome.
Your mom and
Come on,
dad are
shall
pretty
we?
amazing. Oh, that was so sweet.
That's sweet.
Yeah, we have great kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly.
I do unfortunately have to go pretty quick.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna let you
just
finish
fine.
this on
Yeah.
your own.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks you guys for joining us and getting to know you guys a little bit better.
You're just
I'm being
amazing.
drugged away by the kids.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Thank
It
you.
was really nice to talk to you guys.
It's our honor.
I'm looking forward to I'll upload this to YouTube and I'll put a kind of a highlight post that's on
Yeah.
TikTok that you can tell people if they didn't have a chance to.
We can put
To
your links
watch
on
it.
there as well.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
will for sure.
but we'll
Have a wonderful night.
have to keep in touch and you guys
Yeah, you
enjoy your
too.
evening, okay?
Thank you. Okay.
Okay,
Give those
bye. It
kids
was
some
really
love.
nice.
Bye,
Okay,
guys.
see ya.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.